And to that, Inspector General, did you want to add to anything that the Commissioner has said before we go to some questions from staff here and committee members?
No, Chair, I don't have any introductory remarks.
Thank you. Thank you for calling me Chair and not Honorable Judge or whatever was the first time we got. That was supposed to be funny. I can't believe it.
I got it.
That's good. I laughed.
Senator Rasmussen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I appreciate the leadership team for the Department of Human Services being here today. Mr. Chair, as you know, one of an item that I'm working on is to try to get an unredacted opt-in report to members of this committee so that we can benefit from the insights from this report. And so, Mr. Chair, my question to the Commissioner is, would the Department of Human Services be willing to give members of this committee access to an unredacted opt-in report?
Madam Commissioner.
Chair Hoffman, Senator Rasmussen, thank you for that question. Yes, I have. I am not willing to break Minnesota state law, so the Minnesota Government Data Practices Act doesn't allow us to release security data, but I have shared a letter with the legislators through Christy Grom, our director, that I am in support of legislation I think that's moving that would allow DHS to share that unredacted report with legislators. There's just no mechanism for us to share it with the public, and the way the Minnesota Government Data Practices Act works, it treats the legislators as the public.
Senator Rasmussen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So to follow up, Commissioner, the bill that passed the Minnesota House, you're supportive of, you think that that's workable?
Commissioner.
Chair Hoffman, Senator Rasmussen, I'd have to look at it. I would rely on my legislative director. I haven't looked at what just passed, but I believe that what passed was for the legislature to have access to it, and that there are requirements or it's stipulated that the legislators would not share the private data. And yes, I would be supportive of that.
Was that your companion? Or was that your companion? It was yours?
Yep.
So Senator Rasmussen, as a follow-up, then Senator Zainab wants to go to that point, and then we go to Senator Abler. So Senator Rasmussen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Commissioner. But I just want to drill in on a point, because the Department of Human Services decided to redact the report. Like when I open up the report and I turn to the pages on vulnerabilities, it's all redacted. You can't read a single bullet point. When I turn to the section on policy recommendations, almost all of it is redacted. And Mr. Chair and Commissioner, that was a decision that was made by Department of Human Services staff to redact this under Chapter 13. And that was a decision that the department made, and they could also make the decision to unredact information to be made available to this committee and the public.
Yeah, I think of what I heard, Chapter 13 or there's some state statute, and I heard the Commissioner allude to that. But if it sounds like if the bill that is your companion is moved its way in, I think we also added that same companion bill to Senator Zainab Mohammed's bill. But yours, I think we didn't go to the floor on yours. I think we sent it to Senator Wickland's committee, and then hopefully to get it back here. So I guess that sounds like the process is happening, and you want to, Senator Rasmussen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My point is Minnesota taxpayers paid for this report. I think they should have access to the key findings and policy recommendations contained in the report. We have legislative auditor reports. We'll have another one tomorrow that gives us unredacted information about system vulnerabilities and policy recommendations. And so the big question I have is I don't know why the Department of Human Services has effectively made this report useless to members of this committee. And when we're in a session when Minnesotans are concerned about program integrity, they're concerned about fraud, and we don't have access to the policy recommendations that the governor has access to, that's something that concerns me. There's a lot of different ways we can get to this information, but we just ask that the department and members of the legislature move with urgency, because we have a limited amount of time to be able to process this information and to turn it into potential new laws.
Message delivered, and I think you have agreement from everybody in this committee. That's what we wanted in order to make policy. And yet, when we talk about that, we don't want to lose aspect of the fact that we want to assure that whatever decisions are being made, that it's the people that are supposed to be, the people that waived their right to be institutionalized care, right? Home and community-based service. The people that the Supreme Court in 1998 said you have a right to be in the community, you have a right to have a job in the community, you have a right to live in the community, right? It's almost like we want to have those assurance in there. And so what I think everybody on this committee is absolutely in agreement with you on what you just brought up. And so thank you for bringing that up once again. And I guess we'll go to Zainab, Senator Mohammed, because she wanted to add to your point. Senator Mohammed.
I think it was more so of like a question for me, because this report has been coming up so much in this committee and in the House. Can you maybe just tell us why some of it is redacted? I think it's important for the body to know.
Madam Commissioner.
Chair Hoffman, Senator Mohammed, thank you for the question. Two of the reports DHS redacted. One of the reports, it's the CES report, Optum redacted as trade secret. So they have certain codes that they use, and so they redacted that portion. It was our staff, our data privacy office, and attorneys that looked at it and determined what they thought was security data and could be used to exploit vulnerabilities in our system until we have them closed. So very much want to work with the legislators. I have theoretically, without the Minnesota Government Data Practices Act, I have no problem sharing that data with legislators. You are our partners in strengthening the program. However, we need a mechanism to do that without forecasting our weaknesses before we're able to close them.
Senator Mohammed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate you, Commissioner, for saying that, because I think it's become such a political thing for this body. I do think legislators should have access to seeing it, as long as there's some privacy and some guardrails around it, because a lot of the loopholes within the agency are not closed, and we know that they're still vulnerable to fraudsters, and we want to protect those. And so I hope that we can find something that works where we are able to have access to it, so that we can bring policies to close some of those loopholes as well. I think that's why this body needs it, so that we can help you close loopholes.
Yeah, and to that point, I think it's also the OLA understands why some of the stuff was redacted, right? Sometimes policy recommendations aren't necessarily statutory policy recommendations, but internal policy recommendations. I mean, you guys we're having the right conversation. It's like, where do we go from there? Sometimes the systems and the administration, the DHS part is part of that. So Senator Abler, to those points.
Well, thanks. And just to beat the dog to death, I guess. Just have a question. Is the OLA allowed to see this report? They're
Chair Hoffman.
proprietary thing.
Chair Hoffman, Senator Abler. Yes, we provided the unredacted report to the OLA.
Oh,
Senator Abler.
Well, that's a good idea. It's a start. Anyway, so I have a couple of questions, and thanks for that. And if that was the only problem you guys had, or challenge, I think when they were interviewing you for the job, now Commissioner, the governor said, would you like an interesting task? Sometimes you get a little bored in your tasks that you have to do. And you said, oh, what job would that be? Anyway, so in the discussions in the past, I only have a couple of questions. I could take up the rest of the hour, but I think the chair would be unhappy with me. The safe transitions deal, I'm not sure if you're aware, the Ombudsman for Disabilities came forward, and they were attributing potentially 4 deaths and uncounted amounts of homelessness and other challenges. I'm sure you have seen that document they put out. They're not a particularly political entity. They're just trying to figure out what's going on. And you or whoever, I've talked about a safe transitions program.
Yeah.
And I'm sure none of those are results you're after. And so how's that going, the Safe Transitions program? So there's a number of people. I'm going to ask about how many people are in suspension with their payments, my next question. But so of these multi-hundreds of people who are now not getting paid, who are unable to serve their clients, how are you looking after them?
You know what, and I'm glad you brought up that point, that from that presentation, because when it showed that, it also showed there was some uncertainty in that, and so that's, thank you for bringing that up.
Perhaps we can
Safe
clear up
tran-
the uncertainty. This may be our chance.
This is it, Commissioner, to Senator Abler.
Chair Hoffman, Senator Abler. What the Safe Transitions effort is we delay putting a payment withhold in place for 60 days. And this is what I described when I was previously in front of this committee. And we notify both leadership and county case managers that a payment withhold is going in place for a certain provider. We let them know the people that are living in that building, the people that need assistance with support determining what options they would like to exercise, and other steps that will help them be successful. So that it's an effort to balance when we're in a tough situation where we have credible allegations of fraud, the evidence is indicating that we have a provider that is committing fraud, and we have people in a residential setting. How do we do both? Keep the people safe and not continue to let taxpayer dollars out the door. So the 60-day delay is designed to give the counties and DHS a head start at helping those people find a place to live. It's not perfect. It doesn't work in all instances. And we, as Deputy Commissioner Connolly explained, we are continue to come up with new ideas and supports to partner with counties and case managers to help people find the setting that is going to actually provide them the services they receive. Because in many of these instances, the reason that we are putting a payment withhold in place is because county caseworkers, families, or recipients themselves are telling us that that these individuals are not getting services. So they are already unsafe. They are already being harmed, where DHS is paying a lot of money for services and they're not getting services. So it's a very difficult situation to be in, and we really want to make sure that people get the services and that they're supported in moving to a place that will give them the services.
Thank you, Commissioner. And to that point, but there's in that, okay, so they're not getting services, but there was no assurance, no leadership from somebody saying that this person was going to be okay, or the story that Kara Liv and AJ Legault did on the woman who lives with autism, that they evicted her from her apartment, or the ICS, the individual with ICS. That haunts me, and so I think you're there. So what do you, Senator Abler, as another follow-up?
Well, so there actually have three questions.
Go ahead.
How many, and how long? So,
Yeah.
So how many people are on the Safe Transition Program? How many providers that their suspension has been delayed? How many providers does that amount to? 10, 100? How many?
Commissioner?
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
Good.
How many?
Chair and
how
Senator,
long?
for the number of providers, do you have the number of providers with residential? I'm tracking the people. I came focused on the people today.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Mr. Chair,
the
how
number of
many people?
How many people? So right now, what we have in terms of people still living in an ICS apartment that are subject to a payment withhold are about 66% of the people, so 174. And the number of individuals that we have successfully moved from an ICS apartment with a payment or moved to one is 98 people, or 35%.
And where do those people go, Commissioner, that were once living, independently or semi-independently? Are they going to group homes? I mean, are they?
And so I have that breakdown.
Yeah, that'd be
Chair.
great. Senator Abler, is that okay?
Yeah.
Chair
It's your
Hoff.
committee, Mr. Chair.
No, it's your-
anything can be fine by you. So I think that's a great idea.
Commissioner.
Chair Hoffman, Senator Abler. Right now, the numbers I have that were as of our March 6th data collection cycle was 26 people are in their own apartment or home. 22 are with a different ICS provider. 17 are with other residential service. And the remaining, 11 are in a temporary living situation with a family or friend. And then the numbers below that are fewer than 5, so I don't know how many are in those numbers, but those other situations that are temporary are, hospital, homeless shelter, unknown, jail, nursing home, treatment facility. And those numbers are fewer than 5 for each of those, so I don't have the data on that.
Senator Abler.
That's helpful. And then, so how many, maybe this is for Mr. Clark, how many, I guess that's going to be companies. We could ask how many people are involved with that too. It's an interesting thing, but how many different companies are on withholds due to allegations of fraud?
Mr. Clark.
Chair Hoffman, Senator Abler, I don't have the exact number as of today, right? The number varies from day to day. What I do know is that it was 540 people and businesses in calendar year 2025 that we issued a payment suspension due to credible allegations of fraud. So that would be business. So when we suspend payments to a business, we would also suspend payments to, let's say, individual owners, managing employees of that of those entities. So I would have to follow up with you and get you the exact number of businesses as of today.
Senator Abler, do you find it interesting that we're talking about assuring people with disabilities have, what the Olmstead decision would be, or what this committee has always talked about, and we're not getting a specific response from the OIG? Am I misreading that? But I get a quote from last year, and I'm just like, that's not what I wanted to hear.
Actually, the question you have, Mr. Chair, is how many people in those businesses are fine?
Thank you.
That's the question you want to know.
I do.
You could ask him if you want.
You just
I'll yield
did.
to you.
Mr. Clark, can you answer that question for the committee?
So I'll rephrase it if you want. And anyway, so another how many and then how long, but I'm interrupting my own questions. So of the people in these 540 nominal businesses representing, I'm sure, several thousand clients, maybe more, how many of those, with the people have not gotten paid for some time now, how many of those clients are in good stead? Like we talked about the transition people. So how many of these people are at risk of harm because they're providers not providing services?
Mr. Clark.
Chair Hoffman, Senator Abler, I would say all of them are at risk because we're suspending payments when we have evidence that the providers are not providing care to the individuals that are receiving services from those businesses. So I would have to give you a number of how many recipients are impacted by our payment withholds, but to answer your question, unfortunately, I would say all of the recipients at those businesses, because we have evidence that services are not being provided as billed at those businesses.
Senator Abler.
Well, I mean, I get it. And you don't, I mean, every sentence doesn't have to say, like, we care about fraud, we're cracking down on people, this all bothers us, we're sick at night, we don't sleep well anymore because we're so troubled by it. I will posit that to you as a given, counselor. But so we just talked about a safe transitions program for some residential people, but now these companies cannot be expected to serve people with money they don't have, even though, Commissioner, you said in the paper that they have a duty to try to continue, but people aren't going to work for nothing. And TSA, they go to work because it's the law. They're like essential employees, I think. And so PCAs are not essential employees. So it would be, I don't want to badger you, but if you could figure out how many people are represented by those 540 and what you're doing about that. So you're capturing the money, and we're all worried about that. But at the end of the pipeline are 5, 10, 30,000 people. So my next question, Mr. Chair.
Senator Abler.
So there's 540 open investigations. How many of those have been referred to the Attorney General? Of the 540 about.
So Chair Hoffman, Senator Abler, so just to clarify, it was 540 payment suspensions, so not open investigations.
Oh, payments, okay, fine.
So we refer all of our payment suspensions, we're required to do so under law. So when we refer, or when we suspend payments due to credible allegations of fraud, we're required by law to refer those to the AG's office, so all of them get referred to the AG's office.
So all those 540 have been referred.
Senator Abler.
Oh, sorry.
Senator
Mr. Chair.
Abler.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Clark. So all those have been referred, 540 referrals as a stack of papers.
Mr. Clark.
Senator Hoffman, or Chair Hoffman, Chair Abler, yes. The referral numbers can sometimes be combined, right? So like if we have a business.
But they've all been sent
Yes.
there. They're not sitting on your desk waiting. Thank you, Mr. Chair. One last question.
Senator Abler.
And so, well, I guess it's two questions, but how many have been adjudicated? So so some must have gotten solved. So actually, how many have been adjudicated? And what's the average time from discovering a credible allegation to the disposition where they're either put in jail or whether they're charged or they're dismissed?
Mr. Clark.
Chair Hoffman, Senator Abler, I've asked my team to look into that, to get the average time that our referrals are pending. So I don't know that off the top of my head. What I will say is that it varies, but also we are seeing delays and extensions of time that our referrals are being reviewed by law enforcement, and just the amount of time that it's taking to investigate them. So,
Can I ask a request, Senator Abler, on the things that the director is going to get back to you on? Could you please share that with the rest of this committee so that we all are on the same page? Senator Abler.
Mr. Chair, perhaps
And then when you're done, we're going to Senator Gruenhagen.
Yeah, then this is the end. So,
Yep. You're good.
So Mr. Clark was very generous one evening. We had a lovely time together, and it was enlightening to me, and I developed an appreciation for it. I don't want your job, so you're good to go there. But I just want to tell, I guess, the commissioner, you're the head of this organization officially now. So if you have 540 investigations sitting there with, could be probably more than 10,000 human beings at the end of the pipeline not getting services, your Safe Transitions program isn't big enough. And the one person died last October, sometime like that, because they didn't get care. And that should keep us up all at night. And that's, I think, what Senator Hoffman and I are getting at. And, you know, let's get after the fraudsters. Let's make sure the threshold is high enough, and I'm concerned that it's not. We'll talk about that in other bills, but anyway, so that's and so if you could actually, Commissioner, like as part of that, so I'd like to know just like when a thing, if there's got to be an average length of time from when the credible allegation comes to when it gets done, so people who are going to be allocated will know that they should just close up shop and go out of business. And the testimony has been, Mr. Chair, these things have gone on so long that the people go out of business and then the case is dismissed because they're no longer in business, which I don't think is our intent. I'm done, Mr. Chair.
No, and you're right. That's never been this committee's intent. This has always been about getting to, are we assuring that people with disabilities are receiving the services that they need, right? You've waived your right to state institutional care, and let's make sure that it's successful. And I think we said that last week as well. Senator Gruenhagen, to these points.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, thanks for being here and testifying. Say, you know, as I've looked at this, I see we have two proposals in front of us to try to resolve continuity care and also to address the fraud. The first one was published by Mr. Tim O'Malley, a 56-page report. The other one was by the governor, and I listened to his press conference, and I've tried to research as much as possible what the governor wants to do. And when I look at this, because the quickest way to get continuity of care and the money to the people who need it, in my opinion, is to figure out the quickest way to implement and stop the fraud, which is causing the delay in benefits to the disabled and those who really need it. So I see the governor's plan as a major upheaval. You know, we all agree the computer system needs to be updated, okay? We all agree on that. I mean, we're using DOS. But I see Tim O'Malley's report, it's a 9-pillar strategy, and it really gets to the heart of the matter much quicker. I see the governor's proposal taking several years, based on my interpretation, where I see a lot of the things the O'Malley report wants to implement could be done quickly. I'll just give you one example. A simple implementation is I'm not a robot style verification would achieve much of the eligibility cleanup Wall seeks without upheaval. I'm not a robot requires MCOs to confirm enrollees are alive, Minnesota residents, and desire coverage, while halting payments for improper enrollment. This would immediately save $300 million. So, and then the report goes on. So my question to you is, I'm sure you've heard both reports, the Tim O'Malley report plus the governor's proposal. Where is the department position coming down on? Are you coming down more on the major upheaval and an extended period of time and removing everything from counties and putting it all in one government section, or do you like the Tim O'Malley report? That's my question.
Commissioner.
Chair Hoffman, Senator Gruenhagen. Thank you for that question. I have great respect for the Director of Program Integrity, Tim O'Malley. I think his report was very well done. And actually, as soon as it was made available to us, I have put a team at DHS in charge of looking at that report and doing a alignment with efforts that are already underway with our CMS corrective action plan, as well as the work that is coming out of the Optum vulnerability assessment. So I welcome all good ideas to strengthen our programs, and I think there are a lot of great ideas that we are assessing and putting into action from the Tim O'Malley report. The governor's proposal has some good, very good, immediate, actionable ideas, and I see the upheaval, as you call them, the upheaval ideas, as thought starters for the legislature. A lot of them are ideas that have actually come from the legislature. We've heard them from various members. They've come from the counties themselves. They've raised these thought pieces. And so that is a discussion for how we can design the human services system better in the future. We know that it's not working optimally now, right? That's obvious. We all know that. We all know that county case managers need the right support to be able to support people with disabilities. They need the right rates paid so that they can address their workforce challenges. There's many things that we can do to strengthen the outcomes for people in Minnesota, and the governor's proposal includes a lot of those longer-term thought starters.
Senator Gruenhagen.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I guess I would implement the things that could be done the quickest with the most benefit, and because we want to get the money to the people who really need it. And the longer we drag this process out, the more people that are going to get hurt in the process, in my opinion. The other thing the O'Malley report touches on is this culture of threatening and punishing employees who want to report fraud to leadership, like yourself, the commissioner. What is being done to change that culture in DHS, where employees who are our frontline defense for several years have been coming forward and reporting fraud, and yet leadership was threatening and punishing them for doing so? Has anything changed in that particular area? And has anybody been terminated for failure to protect tax dollars?
Commissioners, to Senator Gruenhagen's point.
Chair Hoffman, Senator Gruenhagen, thank you for that question. Yes, this agency, DHS, has been working on having a culture of speaking up and supporting employees feeling safe speaking up. It is absolutely unacceptable for any manager, any supervisor, any leader in DHS to discourage the reporting of issues or concerns. That is how we fix the gaps. That's how we stop fraud from happening. If I am made aware, if it is raised to me that anybody is discouraging an employee from reporting, we will investigate and take action. In terms of the culture turning around, we have done a lot of trainings, a lot of policies and procedures, numerous articles in our intranet, and two of the things that I'm encouraged by is we have a enterprise-wide engagement survey for employees, and DHS's numbers have remained either the same at about 75% feeling comfortable reporting and increasing, and specifically to our internal hotline, in 2024, we had 8 reports from employees that were lifting up concerns internally. In 2025, we had 42. So I think that is both probably illustrative of both the awareness of the need to report as well as the comfort reporting internally.
Thank you, Commissioner. Senator Gruenhagen, and then we're going to go to Senator Rasmussen.
Yeah, I just got a couple more questions.
You only get one.
Yeah, and everybody else gets to ask what they want, so.
I'm kidding, Glenn.
I know you
ask
are.
whatever you want.
Okay.
And then after Rasmussen, we go to Senator Aaron May-Quaid.
The other thing I'd
ahead.
say, Mr. Chair, Commissioner, thanks for that response. The other thing I'd say, you've been a part of the leadership over there. And some of the whistleblowers that have come forward, especially over in the House publicly, your name has come up as one of the ones that is threatening and persecuting the whistleblowers coming forward. Now, that's an allegation. It's not proven. But I just want to let you know that there are concerns that we have leadership without accountability that have actually been a part of the problem of the alleged $9 billion of fraud, that we're using it in a way to try to buy votes with state and federal tax dollars. Those are the types of allegations that are coming forward. So to the degree that you can root out people who are doing this to the employees, I think would be greatly appreciated, and it might vindicate you in some ways.
Sounds like that's what's going on. Glenn,
the next question.
Can I ask you?
Question.
Senator Gruenhagen, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
The stuff in the O'Malley, because I'm sitting here wondering, and the commissioner alluded to some of that work is in either in the governor or the DHS's proposal. Do you have some stuff you want to add within our markup here? Or do you have something that you're working on that we should?
I did submit a bill.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay,
and
good.
I specifically asked that it would come to HS. Okay.
Okay, good.
On
I
fraud.
was like, because the other thing you always bring up, you're always talking about, no matter what we're doing, are we assuring that $500 million that we're protecting that, from the state having to lose that match? And granted, the state of Minnesota gave more money to the federal government than the federal government gave us. But to your point, that seems to always be that filter, that 500 million. So I just wanted to just highlight that. I appreciate your work on that. So keep going. I get one more, and then we'll go to Rasmussen, and then to May-Quaid.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, the other question I had, what efforts by DHS and yourself specifically are being done to recover some of this fraudulent money? I mean, we're talking about an alleged $9 billion. If we could get several hundred million, probably more back, I'm sure taxpayers and people who want continuity of care would sincerely appreciate it. So what efforts has DHS made to recover some of the fraudulent money?
Commissioner?
Chair Hoffman, Senator Gruenhagen, thank you for that question. Over the past 5 years, DHS has identified about 50 million in recoveries. That is something that we have to work with our law enforcement partners on. So we work with the Attorney General's office, the USAO, as well as the BCA, depending on the nature of the money that has been stolen from the taxpayers. Unfortunately, it is very hard, as you know, to get recoveries, and we never recover all that we should. So that's why at DHS, we've also been working very hard to move upstream and put our program integrity measures on the front end so we don't end up in that place of losing those dollars.
Just a final comment. I won't ask another question, although I have several more.
Senator Gruenhagen, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, let's put it this way. If I was in charge, there'd be people fired, okay? We're talking about $9 billion. We're talking about an atmosphere of people not getting the services that they need. People need to be held accountable, and we're talking about employees being threatened and persecuted for bringing this forward. You put me in charge, and there'll be people standing on an employment line pretty quick, and some of them need to go to jail, in my opinion. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Senator Rasmussen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I did have a follow-up for the commissioner. Last time we were here, we talked about the legislative order report that there's multiple manager-level employees at the Department of Human Services who fabricated documents to basically hide the fact that they were not following department procedures on program integrity. Have any of those individuals been dismissed for their conduct?
Senator Commissioner.
Chair Hoffman and Senator Rasmussen, unfortunately, I am not able to provide the disposition of the investigation and any action that is taken according to state law. I am not allowed to provide that until the complete appeals are done, but I am happy to provide that at that time.
Under advisement of my lawyer, I'm not able to, I hear that. Senator Rasmussen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Commissioner. Has any employee at the Department of Human Services been dismissed for their failure to protect tax dollars?
Madam Commissioner.
Senator Hoffman, Chair Hoffman, Senator Rasmussen, if an investigation shows that an employee deliberately did not protect taxpayers' dollars, did not act on fraud when it was brought forward to them, an investigation would be done and discipline would be issued, which includes firing.
Up to Senator Rasmussen, and then we're going to go to Senator McQuaid after you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Commissioner. My question wasn't, theoretically what would happen. My question is what has happened. There has been numerous cases of fraud within the Department of Human Services programs. Has anyone been dismissed for their failure to protect taxpayers?
Madam Commissioner.
Chair Hoffman, Senator Rasmussen, I've answered that question to the best of my ability at this time.
Thank you, Commissioner. Senator Rasmussen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm disappointed that we couldn't get an answer on that, because that's one of the big questions I get asked when I'm back in the district I represent is has there been accountability? Has there been accountability when we have this failure to protect taxpayers? So I'm disappointed that that there hasn't been that level of accountability. Mr. Chair, I have another question for the commissioner.
Can we, because if it's another, can we stick to our assuring? The whole thing about this is getting to the continuity of care conversation, right? So we're going to go to Senator Aaron McQuaid, and then we're going to Senator Udke, but it's now coming up on 4 o'clock. So I knew this would be a robust discussion, which is okay. I mean, it is what it is. But go ahead, Senator Rasmussen. I just want to let you guys know timeline, because we have Abler bill, we have an Aaron McQuaid bill up, we got a Senator Umar Verbatim bill, and we might even have an Utke bill on that, so thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In our packets, we had the summary of Governor Walz's proposal to, quote, transform human services. And one of the concerns that I have is that many of these proposed reforms would take place in 2030, 2031, 2032. long after Governor Walz has left office. And one of the questions I had is, when it comes to ensuring program integrity and continuity of care, what's the status of site visits within the Department of Human Services across the programs? Can you talk about, is the Department of Human Services caught up in terms of the required site visits under the programs you supervise?
Good question. Commissioner.
Chair Hoffman, Senator Rasmussen, I want to go back to the accountability question first. So at DHS, we investigate tips when they come in for fraud. And as I stepped into the role of temporary commissioner, and I chased down the tips that people told me they had given, I did not find a tip that was not acted upon. So if somebody wants to bring one to me that was not acted upon, then I will start an investigation and take action as appropriate. But every specific item that people brought to me, I found was referred to our OIG. Our OIG was investigating it. Our CMS contractor was investigating it. So I did not find instances in my time as temporary commissioner, in looking back, where information that was actionable wasn't acted on, or where employees turned a blind eye. I did not find that. But if I found that, and if I find that in the future, I will take action on that.
Senator Rasmussen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So as a follow-up to the commissioner, do you believe that the Department of Human Services has done enough to protect taxpayer dollars and to stop fraud?
Commissioner.
Chair Hoffman and Senator Rasmussen, my whole time as temporary commissioner, I have been accelerating what the department does. So I think my actions speak for themselves. We have instituted data analytics to root out more fraud and to find out where there were concerning trends and outliers to take actions on those. In 2025, we placed more payment withholds, which is really at the root of this conversation today about continuity of care. But we did more payment withholds in 2025 than any of the years previously. We are currently, to your specific question about site visits, we are currently in the process of revalidating 5,800 providers in the high-risk services doing unannounced site visits to those providers. We've disenrolled about 17,000 inactive providers. We've started enhanced prepayment review and other actions. So this past year, we have continued to step up, and if there are other ideas that you have or any of this committee has that we could be doing to take stronger action on fraud, I would welcome it. I think this is a bipartisan issue. I think it's something that the legislature has to work with us on, that we have to work on, that we need the county support, provider support. It is something that we all need to do to build a stronger system at DHS where the funds are protected and people are getting the care that they need and the outcomes they need, and we are assuring continuity of care.
That's the key. Senator Rasmussen, one more, and then we're going to Senator McQuaid.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Commissioner. We had an EIDBI provider testify to this committee last week that effectively the Department of Human Services is years behind doing site visits on the sites that they manage. Mr. Chair, my question could either be for Mr. Clark or the Commissioner. Is the Department of Human Services years behind in doing required site visits to these providers?
Commissioner Gandhi.
Senator McQuaid and Senator Rasmussen, thank you for that question. One of the challenges DHS has had has been an influx in providers far beyond the expected number of providers that would be enrolling in services. That creates a gap when the funding that the legislature has provided for us to do provider enrollment and to do site visits doesn't cover the amount of providers that are enrolling. So I would need to check for you what our current status is on where we are with our site visits and get back to you with that specific answer. But one of the program integrity items that I would want to work collaboratively with the legislature on is making sure that when we set up and design these services, that we're adequately funding the agency to do the oversight functions that you would like done.
Senator Rasmussen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess, Commissioner, my concern is, we had Governor Walz propose funding 3 new studies on human services, but the agency is behind on site visits. They're behind on technology. They're behind on ensuring that they have a culture where you don't have managers fabricating documents that are designed to protect taxpayer money. And my encouragement to the Department of Human Services would be to focus on those basic tools of program integrity instead of studying the problem for years to come. And I would like to get an update on where we are on site visits, especially on those high-risk programs that we know are vulnerable to fraud.
Thank you. I'm going to come to myself because I'm next on the list, and then to you, Senator Uckey, and then we do have to move on to our bills. This is more of a comment and more of a suggestion, but I appreciate the overview of the Transforming Human Services proposal summary. I very much agree with it. We've had private and public conversations that I think the insertion of third parties and MCOs is part of our problems. There's so many touch points along the path to services being provided that it is it's just porous. And so I very much support it. I do want to say, though, that I think we've had increasingly kind of this push-pull between the executive and the legislative branch and whose role is what. And it would have been really, really great to have heard about this and developed this in consultation with DHS and to know about it, many, many weeks before it was being rolled out, because again, like, you have an ally in me and wanting to get this done, but that is my job. That's our job as legislators, is to develop policy and move it forward. And so if there's good ideas, especially for something as complex as human services, really, really encourage you to work with your legislative partners and not kind of keep us in the dark, because it hurts us from being able to actually to do the good work that you're putting forward. So that is my plea. Senator Uckey, briefly, and then we will move.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've got 2 things. The first one I'll just treat as a comment and then follow it up with a question. But my comment is, we heard about, various things here earlier, the O'Malley report and the governor's proposal. For those here joining us today from the agency, the governor doesn't make these things up. These come from the agency, correct? I think we're trying to separate the 2, and I believe they're kind of one of the same. And as we talk about those things, let's bring them right to the table firsthand. And I think, if we're talking about, and it's been already, these things have been coming up, so I won't repeat them all, but the fact that governor's proposal funds studies, but we already know so much of this and so many of the things we're lagging on. I think you guys all huddled up around the same table. So I'm hoping that we can move these things forward and not have this he said, she said, whatever. But anyhow, that's a comment. I do have one thing that goes back. When we got a little off topic and got a little more onto the fraud, and this is for the department, we all hear about the suitcases full of cash leaving MSP. And I realize that it's federal agents, TSA agents, that check us in when we go through security and all this. Is DHS working with the federal government through TSA to figure out how to put an end to millions of dollars going out on suitcases? I mean, somebody that's got a whole suitcase full of $100 bills, it's probably $1 million or 2 or 3. That's not a normal transaction. And we do need the federal government to help us on those, because they're the ones that are eyes on what's going on. But are you having those communications?
I think you bring back the memory. I think that was the argument about 10 years ago when they said that was, and after the legislative auditor went through their thing and they found that there was no suitcases going out, but they did find some fraud. So, Madam Commissioner, to Senator Utkey's points.
Chair Hoffman, could our Inspector General speak to that, since he partners with law enforcement?
Is that okay, Senator Utkey, Director?
Most certainly.
All right. Mr. Clark.
Chair Hoffman, Senator Utke. To answer your question, I mean, we have a very strong relationship with the Attorney General's office. I meet with them regularly, with the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. I meet with them regularly. We respond to a lot of requests for information from federal law enforcement. The relationship with federal law enforcement was good when I first started in this role. Productive meetings, conversations, felt like I could get people on the phone. Those conversations have kind of dried up a little bit here recently. But to your point, I mean, I am willing to partner and work with law enforcement. I want to hold everybody responsible that is stealing money from our programs. So I think the relationship with federal law enforcement could get a little better. We do have strong relationships here at the state level, though.
Mr. Senator Uckey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's it. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody. As we think about this, I still, and I heard it from the commissioner, I still am not 100% feeling confident that disabilities are assured of the services that they are needed. Hence, Mr. Clark, your responses wasn't happy with them because you didn't know the answer to the question. And so that was unsettling for me as I looked down to the good senator from Anoka, and I thought, didn't answer the question. We have to be assured people with disabilities are safe. And I've said that in multiple hearings over and over. Thank you, Commissioner, for being here and for addressing the assurance and that you are working on it. And you didn't get into the elaborate process, but rather the fact that you have some things that you put in place. You inherited a mess. It was a mess. And thank you for your leadership in doing what you are doing to assure that the things are starting to fall in place. It is a big, big, big system. This committee unequivocally wants to assure that the right things are being done at the right time. And that's what you get here. You know, you got it. So thank you, Deputy Commissioner Connolly. Thank you for being here. Inspector General Clark, thank you for being here. And Commissioner, thank you for being here. I appreciate that for taking time to do that. And so anybody else? We're good. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Hoffman, and look forward to continuing.
Yeah. And a robust conversation is what Senator Hoffman said he was expecting. At 4 o'clock, he said he wasn't expecting it to go this long. So we just thought it was worth staying in that so that you could hear the entire conversation as it played out there in that Senate committee hearing. But up next to something slightly more upbeat, no, Grace? Everywhere you need to be, what you need to be eating, what you need to be drinking, and we've got you fully covered here at Fox 9. I know that All Day are doing a special coverage of the St. Patrick's Day Parade tomorrow from noon, right here on fox9.com and also on Fox 9 on your telly if you've got an antenna. So we're going to chat all things St. Paddy's Day after the break. We'll be back really soon.
Welcome back to the afternoon shift. It is St. Patrick's Day Eve, and I could not be more excited. And someone who's here, she can fill us in on all of the fun that's happening specifically in the city of St. Paul, is Ava Diaz. She is from Visit St. Paul, and she joins me today to kind of fill us in on, I believe there's a parade happening. There's a bunch of bars that are going to be open. Can you tell us just a little bit about why is St. Patrick's Day such a big deal in St. Paul?
For sure. Yeah. St. Paul has an incredible and like rich Irish history. And just like the city loves to come together and celebrate with a bunch of Irish establishments. There's a lot of organizations as well. One of which being the St. Pat's Association is celebrating their 60th anniversary of the parade tomorrow.
Wow.
So it's been going on for years. It's a coveted like celebration that everyone loves to go to. It will be tomorrow at noon.
Okay.
It starts in Mears Park, which is in Lower Town, so a little bit different than past years. And it will travel along 5th Street and end in Rice Park, where kind of the center of other action is. You'll have easy access to West 7th businesses. Landmark Center is going to have a St. Patrick's Day celebration with dance and music, like performances, as well as vendors to shop. So there's a lot of fun things going on.
Do you happen to know what the Irish population is in St. Paul or in the Twin Cities?
I do not.
No. I think it's pretty large. I feel like a lot of people
It is
I
pretty
know are
significant. Yeah,
Irish.
it is significant. Yeah, and everyone comes out and is, whether you're Irish or not, it's just a way to come together and celebrate each other's culture and have so much fun representing the community.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have to make a confession. I've never been to the parade. Are there floats? Are there bagpipes? Can you tell me a little bit what
all
the scene's going
things.
to look like tomorrow? Yeah.
So in the parade, it's just a variety of different community organizations coming together. We have Miss Pat and like the royalty that is voted on every single year. So that's kind of fun to see.
Yeah.
Definitely have bagpipes and Irish dancers and kind of like all the things that you would think about for St. Patty's Day as a part of the whole celebration.
Yeah. So, and I know before the parade, there's an event at CHS Field. Can you fill us in a little bit about that?
So that's the pre-parade ballpark hoolie. So it
Hoolie.
starts.
What's a hoolie?
It's like a celebration, a little party. It's invites everyone in the community to come before the parade if you're ready at 10 a.m. There's going to be concessions, drinks, some samples of Bailey's as well. And that will go till 1, which is a little bit after the parade, but kind of just gets everyone going before the rest of the day of celebrations.
Yeah, and I know the parade will probably go like 3 hours, about 3 o'clock?
Probably about an hour or so.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. And then afterwards, there's the event at the Landmark Center, like you were saying. What can people expect to see there?
Totally. There's a lot of Irish dancers, whether they're competitive or recreational dancers as well. So that's a great way to kind of like fully immerse yourself in the energy and culture of everything. There's also going to be music performances, Irish vendors to shop. Different organizations in the community that are Irish, kind of just a way to come together. And it's at the Landmark Center is located where the parade ends. So it kind of is just a natural flow into the next thing.
Okay. What's your favorite part of St. Patrick's Day in St. Paul?
I just love all of the energy and like everyone coming together and hanging out and celebrating. And it's really cool to see the parade because no matter what day St. Patrick's Day falls on is when the parade is. So we're out celebrating on a Tuesday tomorrow and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, and people are going to need to bundle up a little bit too.
Yeah, it'll be a little different than past years, but that does not stop Minnesotans from coming out and having a good time.
I love it. I love it. And we know that there are a ton of Irish bars around the area, and you brought some delicious food. It's been in front of me for about 30 minutes, and it's just been smelling so good. It's from Shamrocks. Can you tell me a little bit about Shamrocks?
Yeah, Shamrocks is a huge Irish establishment in our community. Every year they host tent party with live music, bagpipe performances. They have Irish food. So what we have here is corned beef. We have a fish and chips. Something that's kind of fun, they call them leprechaun legs. They're actually fried green beans. So
they're not actual leprechaun legs.
Just fun because they're green and they taste really good too. And then we have a classic Reuben as well, but can get all of these goodies at Shamrocks and similar items at other Irish establishments as well. So we love celebrating our local restaurants and businesses.
Yeah. Paul, I know I gave you some of these shamrock or the leprechaun legs. Have you had the chance to try any of them yet?
I haven't. Would you like me to try one now?
Yeah, could you try one?
So it's your classic, here you go.
Yep.
Classic deep fried sort of something you'd expect
Green bean, it's
out
a
of
fried green bean.
the UK or Ireland, something deep fried. But you're telling me there's a vegetable inside there.
There's a vegetable in there.
There's a vegetable. Okay. Well,
Supposedly.
cheers. What do you say? What do you say? Is it sláinte?
What do you say in for Irish, like cheers? What do you usually say?
Is it
You know?
sláinte?
Is it
Something like that?
We don't know. I don't know. Paul, you probably know better than
Anyway,
than I do.
dig in.
Good. Good.
Kind of, yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Well,
There's a
Paul
freshness.
likes it.
It's slightly
Love
more
that.
than.
It's hard not to like anything that's fried.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
deep. Anything deep
Exactly.
fried's good,
Anything
right?
deep fried is going to be delicious, and this all looks phenomenal. Okay, and he gets two thumbs up. Yeah. So actually, I will be in St. Paul tomorrow. Where should be the first place that I stop? I'll be getting there around like 3 o'clock or so. Do you think I should go straight to the Landmark Center, or go to Shamrocks, or get a green beer? Like, what do you think? What would be the first thing I should do tomorrow?
For sure. Well, the Landmark Center celebration goes until 5, so definitely would stop there. That's like kind of where all the energy is going to be. You'll be able to get a really good glimpse of kind of that Irish culture and heritage that we have in St. Paul. And then shortly after, I would definitely head over to some of those local establishments. Shamrocks is going to be having different music guests throughout the day, so that's really
Yep.
fun. In their big open tent, they use their entire parking lot as an extra like party space, which is
Yeah.
really fun. So definitely still like family friendly. You can still have
Great.
fun with anyone of all ages. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Ava, thank you so much for joining us and for bringing all of this food. I hope to see you out tomorrow. We'll be bundled up.
Yes,
and
definitely.
yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Everyone grab a leprechaun finger.
Everyone needs a leprechaun finger. I'll
Cheers.
get some extras tomorrow. Well, yeah, I'm so excited. And yeah, I'm going to chow down on some of this food during the commercial break. And coming up, we're going to be chatting all things Selection Sunday and March Madness right after this commercial break. Welcome back to the afternoon shift, and we have a special guest.
You know what? It feels really good to be back here. I really just wanted the St. Patrick's Day cuisine.
Well,
from
we
St.
have
Paul.
so much food, as you saw, and I know
Yes.
you're excited to eat it. But
Yes.
yeah, we're happy that you're here.
It's been an adventurous day. I did something I had never done in my life before. I slept overnight at an airport last night.
Oh,
Have you ever done this before?
no.
It's not enjoyable.
I
It's
can
not,
imagine.
But there were no options. Like there was the nearest hotel was like 45 minutes away, and
And I'm sure the hotel inside the airport was just packed.
packed. So the Minnesota snow, it was a real thing, and then there were a lot of storms in the south, obviously too. So just a disaster. If you're flying anywhere in America right now, and even just landed at MSP just an hour ago, almost every flight delayed right now.
Oh my gosh.
It's-
I know.
it's a lot.
I was tracking your flight today and it looked like an absolute disaster, but we're so happy to have you here.
I'm happy to be here. The day after Selection Sunday, yesterday was one of my favorite days of the year.
I know, and we didn't even get to chat about it in the office today, so this will all be fresh takes.
Perfect.
And we have Tony Lieber, our go-to all things college basketball, college football. He's here to kind of fill us in on all things Selection Sunday and what we should be putting down in our brackets, right, Tony?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Great. So could you fill us in a little bit about what the bracket is looking like after Selection Sunday?
Yeah, it's going to be another really interesting tournament. I think the main storyline last year was that there weren't many upsets compared to years in the past. And we could be looking at something similar. It's interesting with the new age of college sports with all the transfers and the NIL and everything. Kind of all the talent has gone to the top teams now because they have the most money to build their roster with and help these players get compensated. And while I do think the top teams are probably a level above the rest of the field this year, as for the 1s and 2 seeds, there might be a few sleepers that could bring back the old school Cinderella story in March Madness.
Yeah, Tony, I know you were saying the storyline last year was not a whole lot of upsets. I saw there was only 2 first-round games where the higher-seeded team is actually favored, and so that kind of tracks on par with this year. They don't the forecasters aren't seeing a whole lot of upsets. I got a lot of questions. I want to talk about the East region because that's kind of the region of death. But I want to hear you were talking about a few Cinderella teams. Let's hear who do you got?
Yeah, I think especially now in this new modern age of college basketball with the transfer portal, the teams that are going to be able to be those old school upset teams, I think, they might not be from the super low conferences, but kind of the notch below, like a true mid-major. Like I would look at my 2 favorite double-digit seeds this year would be South Florida, who's an 11 seed in that East region that you brought up. They play Louisville in the first round, first-year head coach Brian Hodgson. They have a legitimate power conference level roster. You brought up the betting lines. They have pretty close spread in their first-round matchup against Louisville. I think they're a live underdog in that game, and I think they could win multiple games in that region. And then I would look at the Midwest region. The 10 seed Santa Clara was one of my favorite teams to watch during the season from the West Coast Conference. First time they're in March Madness since Steve Nash was on the team over 25 years ago now. They play Kentucky in the first round, and I think they have a great chance of winning that game. And then they would get the winner of Iowa State and Tennessee State in the next game, and I think they could maybe even be a live underdog there as well.
Well, I love a Cinderella story, and I that's sometimes the best part of March Madness. But who I'm hoping is not a Cinderella story are the Minnesota women's Gophers team who earned the number 4 seed. What can we expect to see from them in the first games of the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, their first 2 rounds are going to be at Williams Arena, which is a super cool, I guess, experience that hasn't been the case in the Twin Cities for a while. Hosting 3 total NCAA tournament games. They are going to be hosting Green Bay in the 4-13 matchup in their first round game. And then I guess kind of in their pod, the 5-12 matchup will be 5 seed Ole Miss versus 12 seed Gonzaga. That game will be around 2:30 p.m. on Friday. And then the Gophers are going to play at 5 p.m., both at Williams Arena. and then the winner of those two games will play on Sunday. The time has not been announced yet for that game, but the winner of that game will go to the Sweet 16. So if you're looking for something fun to do this weekend, I'm sure it will be a fun atmosphere at Williams Arena. Gophers have a great chance of winning both those games. They'll be heavy favorites in the opening round against Green Bay. And then Ole Miss is one of the better teams from the SEC. But the Gophers should have a great chance in that matchup as well. So it should be a fun weekend of basketball.
Tony, you like the Gophers women to win their first two games. The biggest question with the women's tournament, can anybody knock off UConn? Everybody's been asking that question. UCLA maybe has a chance. I mean, do you think UConn can really be defeated in the women's tournament? Or is this just Gino's year? They're going to go run the table, go undefeated, and win another title?
Yeah, I mean, if I had to choose, I would choose UConn. I've watched UCLA play a couple times. Lauren Betts is really, really fun to watch, and there's not many other post players in women's college basketball that can defend her. So I think UCLA would probably be my pick to upset UConn. I don't know if it will happen, but I really like the UCLA team. And unfortunately for the Gophers, they are the 1 seed in their region. So they did already play them once in the regular season. So maybe that could be a rematch in the Sweet 16. You never know. March Madness. A lot of things could happen, but this year more than ever, the 1 seeds on the women's side are just on another level.
Besides the Gophers, UConn, LSU, University of South Carolina, what are some other teams that we should be looking for specifically in the NCAA women's tournament?
That's a great question. I mean, if you look at UCLA, their one loss was to Texas. They have Minnetonka native on their team, Aaliyah Crump. She's a freshman, but if you're picking a team that you want to root for, there's some Minnesota flavor there. They're 1 seed as well. Certainly a national title contender. There's plenty of Minnesota natives in the bracket as a whole. Tessa Johnson's been on South Carolina for a couple of years now. She played at St. Michael High School. And it's just a really talented field, top to bottom. In Minneapolis, Ole Miss, they have Cody McMahon, who played at Ohio State last year. She was a first-team All-SEC player this year at Ole Miss. And she's worth the price of admission. Very, very fun watch on the Rebels. And top to bottom, it's just a loaded field again. There's plenty of talented players, and it's really fun to watch. The women's tournament, I guess, continue to gain notoriety in terms of like casual sports fans, and it's for good reason. There's a lot of really talented players and teams in this field.
Yeah. I'm excited to watch the women's tournament and the men's tournament. This is the best time of the year. Tony, let's get a championship game prediction picks for both the men's and women's bracket from you. Who do you got?
So on the men's side, in the Final Four, I got Duke over Houston, and then on the other side, I have Arizona over Tennessee. Tennessee is my sleeper pick. That I think they could be a dark horse Final Four team. And then in the championship, I have Arizona over Duke. I think Arizona, top to bottom, has just been the most consistent team all year. Everyone says Tommy Lloyd can't get over the hump. I think he finally does. Jaden Bradley, Braden Berries, they got all the pieces. Cole Pete, future first-round pick. I think they're winning it all on the men's side. And then, like you said, on the women's side, I think I'm going to go with UConn. AZ Fudd is just a knockdown shooter. She's dealt with injuries all year, but it's just hard to bet against Gino Auriemma, one of the best coaches in the history of team sports. And they haven't been as dominant as they were in the early 2000s, and I think they get back on top of the mountain on the women's side.
Tony, I'm going to jump in. Sorry, Grace. I just thought I'd jump in with a quick question. No men's no Tommies, no Gophers in the men's team, but there are Minnesotans spread across the teams. Are you able to fill us in on where we might be seeing some Minnesota locals playing across the entire spread?
Yeah, so on the men's side, probably top of the list, Wisconsin has a couple Minnesota natives. Nolan Winter, Braden Carrington play the most on that team. Braden Carrington, former Gopher. There's a lot of former Minnesota Mr. Basketballs playing as well. Braden Carrington, namely. And then there's also Nolan Groves, who went to Orono last year, most recently won Mr. Basketball. He's on Texas Tech, doesn't play a whole lot because he's a true freshman. And then year before that was Chase Thompson from Alexandria High School. He's on Clemson, plays a little bit more. And then a few years back on a smaller school, Nasir Whitlock, he played at De La Salle High School, and he's on Lehigh, who plays in the first four. I can't remember off the top of my head if they play Tuesday or Wednesday, but they'll be in a standalone game, and he leads them in scoring. So if you want a little appetizer before the full action, he was a great high school player at De La Salle. And there's many more. I could go down the list. I mean, Trey Holloman at NC State, Camden Heide at Texas. It's really impressive how many locals from Minnesota play at the D1 level. Because I remember growing up, it was really just like Tyus Jones from Apple Valley and like Reed Travis from De La Salle. And now almost every team in the tournament, it seems like. Not really, but it kind of seems that way.
Yeah, I remember going to a game at the barn, and Paige Beckers was playing, and her entire hometown crowd showed up. Everyone from Hopkins showed up, and it's so cool, and it's so. I mean, of course, she was playing for UConn. She wasn't playing for the U, but everyone was kind of cheering for her. I mean, it's such a cool thing. I've got one more question. You know, at the barn, everyone dresses up. Not everyone, but a lot of people dress up as barn animals. Do you think we'll see that during the NCAA tournament? Will we see some cows and pigs and horses and goats?
Definitely should. It should be interesting. I've never been to, I guess, a first or second round NCAA tournament game. I went to the Final Four when I was in Minnesota. But it's different on the women's side because the first two rounds are hosted by one of the teams rather than being at a neutral site. And I mean, neither the men's or women's team has been in the tournament for a while for the Gophers. So I'm expecting we could see a pretty good crowd. It'll be interesting, too, because there's that first game between Ole Miss and Gonzaga that obviously they don't have a whole lot of fans in Minnesota. So maybe a lot of Gophers fans go to both games. I really don't know what to expect because I haven't been to a game like this, but I expect Gophers Green Bay playing at 5:30 on Friday to be one of the better crowds we've seen at Williams Arena in a while, and it should be a cool atmosphere.
I'm rooting for the Gopher women's team, but you're saying Gonzaga has no fans in Minnesota? That's my men's squad this year, Tony. I'm with the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Boo, Gonzaga. What's up with Gonzaga? You don't like Gonzaga? Just whatever.
They're whatever.
Whatever.
They're the easy pick.
They're the easy pick. I feel like they always get close, but they never get over the hump. Tony, you're not just our easy pick. You're our go-to pick when it comes to college basketball. We do appreciate you, my man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Have you been to a game at the barn?
No. I've been to a hockey game. I've not been to a basketball game.
So Williams Arena is called the barn.
Yes.
And whenever I went to the barn, I would dress up as a barnyard animal.
Oh, okay.
Which animal do you think I dress up as? Every time.
It's not a gopher. It's not a gopher. You wouldn't dress up as a gopher?
No, I'll just say it. I would dress up as a cow because they were the cutest outfits. I'll have to put a picture in there.
Yes.
But yeah,
I'd love to see a pic.
Great environment. I mean, if you haven't gotten to the barn, you need to get to the barn. It's really, really fun.
For sure. But we know you're going with them. You're in a Minnesota alum. We know you're going with the Minnesota women.
100%. And I liked hearing that Tony said that that he was rooting for Tennessee as well to go into the Final Four, and I think I'll do the same because I've got some really good friends at University of Tennessee, so I'm gonna have them go pretty far. But what about you? Who are your top?
Like I said, I'm rooting for Gonzaga to win the men's. I've been tracking them for years. I want to see them kind of get over that hump. And yeah, I'll roll with the Minnesota women. Why not in the women's bracket? That would be a real Cinderella story. Notre Dame is in the women's bracket though, so I don't know when they would play each other.
What seed?
But I think they're a 4 or 5. They're similar to Minnesota, I think. So we'll have to see if they end up playing each other. We'll have to do something special if that ends up being the case.
So here's a question for the group: Are Minnesota women just better at sport than men?
Yes.
It feels like this is a foregone conclusion now, right?
I don't think it's even a question. I think it's absolutely verifiable and true. I think the women on average do much better than the men.
Yes. Yeah. And, I actually was stranded today, and this is the only man that's on the Minnesota cheer team the Minnesota cheer team, pound for pound, might be the best athletic program the University of Minnesota has. They just win national titles.
The dance
team, pardon me. They win national titles every year.
Every year. You can count on them, and it's always a question of how many they're going to come home with, but they're always going to guaranteed to come home with at least one or two.
Yeah. So very, very powerful squad. Paul, you remember we talked to Mia Tassani. Remember her?
Yes. Yeah, from the dance team. I do remember that.
Yes.
That was a moon and a half ago.
It was. But yes, you're right. I think the Minnesota women are
just outshine. I mean, like the Frosts.
100%.
Look at how the Lynx, how much further they made it in the run last year than the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
And the women's basketball team,
obviously. We just need a women's NFL team.
We need one. Hey, I'm all for women's flag football. I mean, that's up and coming. So I know lots of different high school programs across the state have implemented women's flag football, and it's super fun to see them. And it's cool. And the Vikings would give them a shout out and allow them to come to some practices. So I don't think women's football is far away by any means.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, we need someone to win us a trophy.
You do.
It's going to happen sooner rather than later, Minnesota. I believe in Minnesota. I really do. I do.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
So, I know we got is there a press conference coming up next? Or
what I was going to do, actually, when we come back after this break, Adam, you shot a little video for us this morning down in Orlando.
Yes.
And I thought we could just kind of revisit the experience you had as a traveler who was out and about and dealing with what it was like to be caught, traveling back and all of those things and sleeping at the airport. And I've got lots of questions about that.
Lots of Minnesotans that were very patient today. A lot of patient and a lot of Minnesota nice, genuine Minnesota nice. People helping each other, people allowing each other, to kind of get by, whatever. It was actually a very calm atmosphere. I was very calm. Everybody was very calm. So it was a good scene. In which case, other cases could be very chaotic. Not with the MSP crowd today.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to watch the video and hear a little bit more about it because I don't want to sleep on an airport, and maybe you can give me some tips and tricks if I ever get stuck in that situation. So we've got more to come from the afternoon shift after this.
Welcome back here inside Studio 9 at the afternoon shift. Grace, it's been a doozy of a day to say the least. Yes.
Tell me about it. What happened?
It's been crazy. It's been crazy. I was in Orlando this weekend. I got to the air. I was on a 9 o'clock flight yesterday. It was the only one that hadn't been canceled from MCO to
9
MSP.
p.m.?
9 p.m. last night was the only one that had. Every other flight had been canceled. And I told myself, I said, you know what? I said, this is going to take off. I said, they haven't canceled it yet. We're all good. I get to the airport around like 7:30, still on time. Everything's all good. Then they start delaying it. They delayed it until it was going to be a 12:45 a.m. takeoff this morning.
Oh my gosh.
Landing at like 2:45 or 3. And then they finally canceled it. And they booked us all on a 9 a.m. today. Well, by the time they canceled it, it was like 1 a.m. You go on your phone, nearly every hotel near the airport completely sold out. There is a hotel inside MCO, the Hyatt Regency, completely sold out. The nearest hotel that was available was like a 30 to 45 minute drive, like $100 Uber.
Oh my gosh.
And it was going to be like a $350 trip to basically take a shower and lay in bed for 2-3 hours max. So I did what probably I would say 80% of the people on my flight decided to do, was just to stick it out at MCO. And it wasn't just the MSP people. It was people from LAX, people going to New York, Boston, DC. Everybody was stranded at MCO last night. I'm not even joking you. There were probably between 600 and 700 people that just were stranded overnight. The Burger King inside MCO served all night. I never saw them close. And I would just do laps. I eventually did kind of catch some rest, probably around like 4 or 5 o'clock this morning. And I slept almost the whole flight. We landed at 3:15. We landed here today. So I slept almost that whole flight. But what I did do while I was still there this morning, I was chatting with you and Paul, and Paul encouraged me. He's like, hey, interview a couple people, see what the vibe is, see what a mood check is. So I recorded a little clip. Let's play as to what the vibes were at MCO this morning around 7:30 a.m. I'm here at Orlando International Airport, where hundreds of Minnesotans were stranded overnight. Every flight from MCO to MSP yesterday was canceled. Hundreds of Minnesotans stayed inside the airport last night, including myself. I had the chance to speak to some of these Minnesotans to hear about their experiences last night and when they hope to get back today.
Got here at 4:30 yesterday, sat around for 8 hours. We had a flight attendant show up and one pilot last night, and then we were supposed to board at 11. They were here at 11:10. Then they left. No gate agent, nothing. Then we got a notification just up there that it was scheduled for tomorrow morning. So we sat around for 8 hours.
We waited until 2, got to the gate, and they canceled the flight.
We had to book in a hotel in downtown Orlando last minute, which was not cheap. Pay for an Uber last night at midnight, which is not cheap from a hotel. Pay for an Uber this morning, so.
We slept in chairs here.
At the airport?
At the airport, yes.
I don't know, I guess whenever a pilot shows up or two, at some point, at any point, I gotta turn around and get to Hartford for work at 5:30 this afternoon on another Delta flight back in Minneapolis. So we'll see if that ever is gonna happen, so.
Hopefully before noon. We have a dog in boarding that we were supposed to pick up, that we don't know if we're gonna pick him up or not, and got family back there waiting for us as well, so.
Nightmare situation. Were those people on your flight?
They were.
Okay.
They were. Now, Kyle, as you said, he had a 5:30 flight to make back to Hartford. It seems like he's going to make that flight. I mean, I don't know if he was ever able to leave the airport. Donna was sitting in the row across from me, so her and I, we were smiling the whole time. She was laughing because she was reading all the comments. Fox and I put the video up on Twitter, and she had some people that were texting her after they saw her there. I had never heard of the city Lino Lakes. That's where Kyle's from.
Yeah.
I thought it was Line and then like Lando Lakes. And he's like, no, it's just all like Lino, one word.
Yep.
So I learned a new city name, and Kyle was getting a little, as like most people, they were just getting a little frustrated. Because it was like, at first there was no pilot, and then today it was, we need one more flight attendant. And so when the flight attendant came, people started cheering and clapping, like literally, like people started clapping when the flight attendant, and she walked in and she like put her fist up like as if she like won a gold medal. People were, because as soon as she got on the plane, that's when they opened up the gate and things kind of started to work out. So it was a whole adventure.
Yeah.
But you know what? These things happen once every few years to every traveler.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you kind of, if you've been having a lot of good luck, you're bound to have one of these days. And so hopefully this is my day of 2026 and everything else is kind of smooth sailing from here.
Yeah,
So,
well, welcome home. We're
Thank you.
glad to have
Thank you.
you.
Thank you. It was 90 degrees yesterday, you know, and so all the snow on the ground, it was a welcome sight. Yes.
Yeah, so I'm just playing right now on the National Weather Service website because I thought it was actually worth mentioning. Just popped in Lino Lakes there. 9.4 inches of snow is what they got. So that's what he's heading home for when he eventually gets home. The official number that I saw at the airport at MSP here is 8.9 inches.
That's crazy.
Is what it got.
I've
So
never seen a board lit up like that one at MCO was.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
orange
red.
and red.
Orange, red, yeah.
But from what I will say, and I wasn't here this weekend, but from everything I heard, it was going to be like 2 feet, 2 feet, 2 feet.
Yeah.
So like this was kind of, this was under what people were
A
expecting?
little under, but I think what really got people was the wind.
Oh, okay.
If I'm not mistaken, because the wind was pretty gusty, and I live pretty near the airport, and I didn't see any flights coming in and out, so I was actually checking up on your flight because I knew what time you were supposed to get in, and I was like, there's no way.
There's no way.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Are those official totals though? So what an inch is, a foot is
12.
12. There are some places in here that you're seeing that. So East Bloomington recorded a 12 inches of snow.
Wow.
Rosemount, 16.9 inches. You head down south, which is kind of where everyone was saying that we needed to keep an eye on during the weekend. And downtown, I think it's downtown northwest Rochester, registered 18.3 inches. So that's getting to be some pretty hefty fall that you have to deal with on your driveway.
Yeah.
Mine was bad enough, and let's see if I can bring that up here too, so I can just check it out. I mean, I was in Hopkins, and that got.
Did you have to shovel and everything too?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
Well, they had to close some of the interstates.
Oh.
Yeah, they closed down I-35 for a little bit, which is in the southern portion of Minnesota.
Right.
It was that bad, and I believe it did reopen earlier this afternoon.
Okay.
So pretty hazardous conditions. So I mean, I think most people just hunkered down yesterday and stayed home. I mean, I was out a little bit and I got stuck in the snow, but I think did you?
Wasn't a lot of cars driving past.
Yeah.
We hunkered down as well. We weren't going to go out in this. Around 4 o'clock, decided it was time to get out there and try and move the snow. Just because we did end up with, I'm just seeing here in Hopkins, 8.5 inches of snow. So if you kind of let that then get even a few more inches on top, it just becomes so much tougher to move. So
well, and it was heavy and it was wet snow.
Decision.
It was it wasn't the light compact snow. It was the snow that's heavy and that it takes a lot of muscle to move.
Yeah.
But it's looking like the weather's about to turn a corner for us again. It's this sort of tease us with one thing, tease us with another, and it's looking like we might end up with some nice weather before the end of the week. So fingers crossed for that.
Let's hope so. And it wasn't just the snow in the Midwest too that was messing up travelers. Lots of really bad storms around Atlanta today, and obviously Atlanta a huge hub. So if you're traveling the last 48 hours and you weren't delayed, then you were a very, very, very lucky one.
And just another to throw in the mix here, some compounding, factors to do with these delays as well. We're still dealing with the partial government shutdown in spring break, which is one of the busiest times of the year. So even to have a major hub like Minnesota out for a day has these huge knock-on effects that we're going to be seeing for days. We might even try and follow up with that tomorrow and try and get someone on that can talk to us about what that kind of looks like as the coming days unravel, and whether we're going to see these planes sort of taking off more regularly, or if it is still going to be a delay. But we should probably quickly head to a break so that we can come back in time to say goodbye.
Let's do it. Let's do it. More to come from the afternoon show. afternoon shift edition on Monday, March 16th, St. Patrick's Day Eve. Grace, you're going to be out in St. Paul tomorrow with all the festivities?
I'm planning on it. Yeah, I have my green outfit picked out.
Yes.
I'm very excited.
Yes.
I know you love St. Patrick's Day.
I love St. Patrick's.
Are you going to be up to it?
Listen, I don't know if I'm going to be doing all of the shenanigans, but like I'm going to put on my green. I'm going to get into the spirit. I think it's the fourth best holiday, pound for pound. I love everything about it. I love the spirit. I love the
You
atmosphere
literally
of it.
just made me laugh out loud. Fourth best.
It is
I can't
the
believe
fourth
you've
best.
ranked them in order.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me number one.
Thanksgiving, Christmas, 4th of July, then St. Patrick's Day. That's the unequivocal
wrong.
list. What else belongs there?
Halloween.
Halloween.
No,
Halloween's
no,
number
no,
two.
no,
Up with Halloween.
Halloween's number 2.
Number 2?
Christmas, Halloween.
Above Thanksgiving?
100%.
And the 4th of
I'm with
July?
Grace. I'm with Grace.
The 4th of July?
I think
Hey.
that it's Christmas, Halloween, 4th of July.
I've celebrated 4th of July maybe once for real in my entire life. And it's totally like it is my boyfriend's. Some people love it, you know, and I did have fun. I was out on a boat. That was the one year that I really celebrated it, but I just let it pass. Halloween and Christmas are where it's at.
Valentine's Day is better than Halloween. That's so much better.
Paul, did you hear that?
That is better than Halloween.
Sacrilege. Absolute sacrilege. Halloween's the best.
Nah, I'm not. I'm just not. I'm
Easily could be number one.
Everybody, but St. Patrick's Day, everybody gets in the spirit. Everybody's wearing green. People
Everyone
are all
dresses
happy.
up for Halloween.
Yeah, I know. I get it. I get it. Maybe it's number 5. But I love St. Patrick's Day, and it's very big, especially here in the Midwest. I know it's a huge deal here. And St. Paul is going to be the epicenter of all the celebrations. You'll be right in the thick of it tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm hoping to stop into some pubs, hear some bagpipes.
That's awesome.
Maybe meet a leprechaun. I don't know. Who knows what'll happen? But I know tomorrow we're planning on decking out the studio, maybe. So
Okay.
we'll be in the spirit. I think we'll all be in our green, and yeah, I'm excited as long as you're not too tired and you're able to get a good night's rest.
I'm going to be all in for St. Patrick's Day. I'll be sure to have a little beverage after the show, a nice little Guinness, maybe some corn.